Australian fish and Australian fishing conditions are probably harder on the terminal tackle on lures than any other situation encountered anywhere in the world, and for that reason a lot of Aussie anglers get into the habit of upgrading the hardware on their lures. They change the hooks and rings because a lot of our fish, particularly things like barramundi, Murray cod, and a lot of our big saltwater fish, can really destroy the hooks and rings on some of these imported lures. They're fine for the bass and pike and walleye that they're meant to target overseas, but sometimes they fall a little bit short in our home waters. Now, traditionally what we've done is take those original hooks off and replace them with a heavier gauge of treble hooks. But beefing up your treble hooks in that way can really sandbag the action of the lure. It can turn floating lures into sinking models, and it just takes the life out of them. You don't get quite as many strikes. Look, another way of approaching the problem is to fit inline singles instead. And these Kaiju Inline singles from Mustad are some of the best that I've ever used on hard-bodied lures. They're specifically made for this application. They are some of the sharpest hooks that I've ever felt straight out of the pack. They've got Mustad's unique micro-sharp sharpening system. They're very light gauge, but very, very strong. And when you hook a fish on these, it tends not to get off. I really like using singles. And then, of course, the big advantage in catch and release fishing, they're much, much kinder to the fish. Rather than having all those other points potentially driving into their eyes or their gill covers or up underneath their throat latch, you've just got these two single points on there. It's a surprisingly effective system. If you haven't tried inline single hooks on hard-bodied lures, grab yourself a couple of packs of these Kaiju inline singles from Mustad and give them a go. Check out what we did with them recently at Hervey Bay. We're chasing threadfin salmon in skinny water, casting shallow running twitch minnows. I've retrofitted mine with those Mustad Kaiju inline singles. With lots of broken rock, this is pretty rough country, and I like the snag resistance of the singles. Even though the water's not especially clear, this is genuine sight fishing, as we don't make a cast until we've clearly identified the presence and swimming direction of a target fish. When the threadfin are working water that's this shallow, they regularly telegraph their location via subtle ripples and bow waves, the spray and flicker of bait fish and prawns, or even by allowing their tail tips, fins and backs to break the surface. It's incredibly exciting stuff.
Right along my rod, right in, look right in place, near the rock. Big back out the water.
Big fish, Steve.
Oh, yeah. This fishing is by no means easy. Long, fast and accurate casts are required to present a lure across the nose of a feeding fish, close enough to attract its attention, but not so close that the fish spooks. Getting it just right takes practice, and even then there are no guarantees. Multiple presentations from various angles are often required before you eventually strike gold, if you ever do. It's a nerve-wracking game, but the payoffs are well worth the wait.
Oh, look at that, awesome.
Yeah.
Well done, bro.
Great. He's coming at me. Oh, he's a big one.
Good fish.
Yeah. He'll jump in a minute.
He's nearly up on the bank.
Oh, look,
There's another one. Oh, go on, get another one in there, Jacko. Oh, that is so much fun.
Is that yours there?
Yeah, that's mine, so don't cast over it. Oh, I'm on a fairly light gear here.
There's definitely two there.
Just on 15-pound braid here and fairly light leader, but I got a little bite tippet of 50-pound at the end. This is so much fun. I mean, it's good fun catching salmon in the deep water on the vibes and things, but to actually sight cast to them up in just centimetres of water, we could see the back and tail of this one breaking the surface, and I've thrown a shallow running minnow at him, and we've retrofitted it with the Mustad inline single hooks. Now, you might miss the odd fish that you might pick up on a treble hook on the strike, but when you get the hooks in, I reckon they stay in better with these singles, so I hope I haven't cursed myself there. Here he comes, coming straight down towards us. He's going to take off like a scalded cat here in a minute. I might be coming through there in a second, Jacko.
Yeah. Good fish, Starling.
Yep, I've come through.
I'll stop fishing and I'll get that net ready for you. That was an amazing strike.
Yeah, and didn't he explode out of there?
Shallow water threadies are such a different fish to those deep water ones we're catching on the vibe.
They're still an incredibly erratic fish, aren't they? You can catch three and they all fight totally differently. You know?
Exactly right, yeah.
Pretty happy with... Oh, this one swimming right underneath him.
What?
Yep, and it's bigger than him. Woo.
Oh, I'm not trying to gag him.
Yeah, I've never
that
done
one
it, but
beneath
just
him
work your
came
little
out, that
past
would
it,
be
Jack. I don't think the other one will come out.
The one with him would be a good 10 to 15 centimetres longer than him.
Really? Wow. Those little single hooks done the job.
They're hanging in beautifully. All right, get ready. There's all sorts of advantages to the singles. They don't snag up anywhere near as much. It's really shallow in here and there's a lot of oyster-covered rocks. So using the mustard singles is meaning that I'm getting less snags and hang-ups on those rocks. And it also means that I can go slightly bigger in my hook size without sandbagging the action of the lure because it's lighter. Those single hooks. These are cracking threading. I'm just going to take him nice.
Yeah, there's a big ball in there, Starling, don't you? No. They're an amazing fish, aren't they? They are. Without doubt. One of the best. We got him.
Oh, look at that. There's those single hooks. Look at that. It's a beautiful hook up. That one's dropped out. That's what I held him on. That little single hook. My hands are shaking slightly. I'm a little bit excited. And out it comes. And there you go. There's the mustard inline singles. I love them. I'll hold him up. Look at that.
Beautiful fish. He'd be a metre fish.
Yeah, pushing it. Yeah, oh yeah, certainly to the tail tips.
To the tail tip,
a metre, yeah. They've got such enormous tails, haven't they?
While we were landing this one, Jackson up the front there just threw in and hooked the fish up in a spanner, so there's plenty.
I reckon I pulled the smallest one out of that group too.
Yeah,
There's some thumping big fish in there.
That's the smallest one.
That's the
Not
smallest
bad.
one.
Let's get him back in the water.
Yep. But that's the other thing, coming out of this shallow water, you don't have any pressure issues. Oh, he's fine. Look at that.
Yeah. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Excellent cat. Oh, down there, big.
Oh, yeah. I like these Lucky Craft minnows. They've just got a really nice subtle action and they work well when you twitch them. This one's virtually a suspending lure, so it does float up very, very slowly when you pause it, but it hangs in the water and you can just work the rod tip and flick it and jig it. These threadfin are hunting right in hard along the edge, and I'd say they're looking for prawns and crabs, little fish, anything. They're just going along with those whiskers and trying to stir things out of the shallows, and if a little mullet or a herring goes past, which is probably what this best imitates, they're not going to ask any questions. They'll nail it. Great lures. Look at that one. Oh, hit it again. Come on, come on. Two bites at that. Oh, glad it on this one.
I am sorry.
There's a couple of them. Here they come.
I think I had a bite and I wasn't.
Here he comes.
White, yeah, okay, white. Yeah, I think there is 2 or 3 fish there.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3.
Oh,
Oh! He's on it, he's on it, he's got it. Fancy footwork. That was amazing.
just get me lure in, Steve.
Yeah, you're right.
Right up in the boom. Good on you, mate. 3 or 4 working there, Steve. I think there's a few jelly prawns in there, so
This is a good one. Cast those 2 in there.
I'll try.
Action like this is quite tide specific and it won't last all day. You need to make the most of it, and that can mean firing a few opportunistic casts in while your mate's hooked up.
Did you grab the net, Steve?
Yeah, getting pretty close now. You've got to be pretty fast on your feet with these things. They're just all over the place. They are one of the most erratic fish you'll ever catch. Rapid direction changes, Oh, look at that. What a beautiful fish. He's swallowed that lure head first. You can actually see the tail of the hard-bodied lure poking out of his mouth. Doesn't like the look of you, Bogey.
No, he doesn't, but
thank you, mate.
doing his day. He's in the net.
Woo!
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's a cracker. It's a
another
nice
metre.
fish. Yeah, he's certainly a metre, that one. The way he swallowed that head first, just absolutely inhaled it. The tail hook hasn't hooked him at all. The front hook has got him beautifully. Oh, I've got to tell you, there's a few nicks and chafes in this leader. I'm running 20 pound, about a rod and a half length of just 20 pound, down to a little 25 centimetre bite tippet of 50 pound fluorocarbon. But he must have run through the rocks when he made that big long run, because it's all chafed up here. It's just going to break. No,
Steve, I'll just interrupt you for a moment. Just have a look over there.
While I'm unhooking my big thready, two more are cruising the edge just a couple of boat lengths away, and Jacko's got them covered, but no response this time. Show you where that hook is. There it is, in the roof of his mouth. I really like these. They're nice and strong, fine gauge, but very, very strong and very, very sharp. And just having two hook points on there, sure, you're going to miss the odd hit because of it, but you're also going to miss out on a lot of snags, and when you do hook a fish, it's not going to come off anywhere near as often. That's a beautiful thready. Oh, truly a metre. I'll give him a swim. Just pays to let the water get circulating through his gills. Look at the way he's flaring out his big whiskers there, those big sensory organs that they use to taste things in that muddy water. They're just designed for hunting in that really muddy stuff along the edge. Oh, he's biting down on my finger now. He's ready to go. Very confident that that fish will be fine coming out of less than a metre of water. There's been quite a lot of tag recoveries on the threadfin salmon, particularly out of the Brisbane River. There's an amazing fishery that's developed there in the last couple of years, and they catch them well up the river through a lot of the year, and then at summertime they come right down to the mouth to spawn, and fish have been tagged and released 2-3 times up there and still recaptured. So don't feel like you can't let them go. They might be fairly exhausted when you get them in, but if you just spend a little bit of time swimming them, and also if you think there's sharks around, take them into the shallower water and let them go. They've got a much better chance of escaping those bull sharks that will come out and hunt on them. This is so exciting. There's still a few more in here. Mustad Kaiju Inline single lure hooks also come in a handy range of sizes, with extra large inline eyes that make it dead easy to rig them on all manner of hard-bodied lures and jigs. Mustad are the best-selling hooks on the planet, and with good reason. Be sure to follow their great Facebook page covering our part of the world.